Imagine a creature so terrifying that a single glance could turn you to stone, a being so feared that even the bravest warriors never returned from their quest to hunt her down. Hidden deep in the ancient lands of Greece, among monsters that haunted the nightmares of the Hellenic people, lived a cursed soul whose name alone struck terror into hearts, Medusa. But who was this monstrous figure? Was she always a beast of horror, or is there a tragic tale behind her curse? Today, we dive into the heartbreaking story of Medusa, a woman whose beauty once rivaled the gods, only to be transformed into a symbol of dread. Let's uncover the truth behind the myth of the cursed priestess. Long ago, in a world where gods and mortals intertwined, Medusa was born as a mortal, a child of two primordial sea deities, Phorcys and Cedio. Unlike her two sisters, Steno and Uriel, who were born as Gorgons, creatures with a mix of human and serpent traits, Medusa entered the world as a normal, breathtakingly beautiful girl. Her golden hair shimmered like the sun, and her gentle eyes captured the hearts of all who saw her. From a young age, Medusa was different, not just in appearance, but in her heart. She was deeply devoted to Athena, the goddess of wisdom and war. And as a child, she loved playing pretend games with her sisters. Medusa always took on the role of Athena, the protector, while her sisters gleefully played the villains. Growing up, Medusa had a best friend named Iphicles, a boy who was her constant companion. The two were inseparable, sharing laughter and dreams under the warm Greek sun. As Medusa blossomed into a young woman, her beauty became even more striking, drawing the attention of many, including Iphicles. Under the influence of Eros, the god of love, Iphicles confessed his deep feelings for her. Medusa, though touched by his affection and secretly harboring love for him, had a greater calling. Her dream was to serve Athena as a priestess, a path that demanded purity and sacrifice. With a heavy heart, she turned away from love, choosing devotion over desire, music. When the time came, Medusa began her training to become a priestess in Athena's temple. This was no small task. The apprentices were expected to uphold the highest standards of conduct and discipline. Every action they took reflected on the goddess herself. One of the most sacred rules was that priestesses must remain pure, mirroring Athena, who had never given in to the temptations of love or desire. Medusa excelled in her role, becoming a model priestess. Her rituals were so captivating that they drew more and more followers to the temple. People couldn't help but be mesmerized by her beauty, especially her flowing hair, which seemed to dance with every movement. One day, a foolish man dared to whisper that Medusa's hair was even more beautiful than Athena's. This comment did not go unnoticed. High above, on Mount Olympus, Athena sensed a shift in her temple. She saw that many who came were not there to worship her, but to gaze upon the enchanting priestess. Though it angered her, Athena held back from acting against Medusa. She knew the young woman wasn't at fault. She was simply doing her duties with unmatched grace. But not everyone on Olympus shared Athena's patience. Poseidon, the god of the sea, had long harbored a grudge against Athena. The two had once competed to become the patron deity of a great city in the Attica region. Athena had won, and the city was named Athens in her honor. Poseidon, bitter from his loss, had been waiting for a chance to strike back. Seeing Athena's unease over Medusa, he found the perfect opportunity for revenge. Poseidon decided to tarnish Athena's reputation by targeting her most cherished priestess. He watched Medusa from the depths of the ocean, plotting to corrupt her purity and, in turn, disgrace Athena's sacred temple. Medusa, unaware of the divine eyes watching her every move, continued her life of devotion. One day, as she walked along the shore, she heard a voice calling her name from the waves. Emerging from the sea, in all his majestic glory, was Poseidon himself. With charm and power, he tried to seduce her, but Medusa, though awestruck by his presence, remembered her vows. She rejected him firmly, refusing to betray her goddess. Poseidon, however, was not used to being denied. Enraged by her rejection, he grabbed her arm. Medusa fought back with surprising strength, striking him across the face and breaking free. Terrified, she ran to the only place she felt safe, Athena's temple. But Poseidon, consumed by lust and a thirst for revenge, pursued her. Just as he was about to catch her, Iphicles, her loyal friend, stepped in to protect her. Brave as he was, Iphicles was no match for a god. With a single blow, Poseidon sent him crashing to the ground, leaving him unconscious. Medusa reached the temple and fell to her knees before Athena's statue, tears streaming down her face as she begged for protection. But her cries went unanswered, as Poseidon's heavy footsteps echoed closer. Music. Inside the sacred temple, Poseidon cornered Medusa. Despite her pleas, he forced himself upon her right on Athena's altar, desecrating the holy space. Satisfied with his act of vengeance, Poseidon left the temple, knowing he had not only violated Medusa, but also struck a deep blow to Athena's honor. Medusa was left broken, feeling ashamed and unworthy. But instead of offering comfort, the goddess unleashed her fury. She blamed Medusa for what had happened, accusing her of vanity and claiming that her beauty had distracted men from true worship. Athena declared that because of Medusa, her temple, once a place of purity, had been defiled, and her divine honor diminished. In her anger, Athena decided to punish Medusa. She cursed the young priestess, transforming her into a monster. Her beautiful hair turned into a nest of venomous snakes, and her once kind eyes became deadly, capable of turning anyone who met her gaze into stone. That night, as Medusa sat in the darkness of the temple, crying over her fate, Iphicles regained consciousness and came searching for her. Hearing her sobs, he approached, ignoring her pleas to stay away. He tried to comfort her, reaching out to touch her shoulder, but a snake from her hair bit his hand. When Medusa turned to face him, their eyes met, and Iphicles was instantly turned to stone. Heartbroken, Medusa held the statue of her dearest friend, tears falling as she realized the horror of her curse. Desperate not to harm anyone else, Medusa fled the city. But as she ran, some townspeople caught sight of her. Those who looked into her eyes were petrified, frozen in terror. Word spread quickly of a monstrous creature with snake hair, and soon a group of men banded together to hunt her down. Days later, they were found as stone statues, their faces etched with fear. Medusa never meant to hurt anyone. She only wanted to protect herself from the unfair hatred directed at her. To escape the danger, she sought refuge in a desolate, abandoned region, far from any human contact. There, she found the ruins of an ancient temple and made it her hiding place. Many warriors came seeking glory by slaying the Gorgon, but none ever returned. Isolated from the world, Medusa slowly lost the last traces of her humanity. Her name became a legend, synonymous with terror and death. She survived by hunting small animals and rodents, living a lonely, miserable life in the ruins. One day, while chasing her prey, she stumbled upon an old bust of Athena. She realized that the ruins she called home had once been one of the earliest temples dedicated to the goddess. This discovery stirred something within her. Despite everything, Medusa began to care for the crumbling temple, cleaning it and performing small rituals to honor Athena. Even in her cursed state, her devotion and nobility shone through. High above on Olympus, Athena watched these quiet acts of reverence. She saw that Medusa's actions were not driven by vanity or pride, as no one was there to witness them. For the first time, Athena felt regret for the harsh punishment she had inflicted. She realized that Medusa had been a victim, caught in the cruel games of the gods. But the curse was irreversible, and Athena could not undo what had been done. Meanwhile, Medusa's lonely existence continued, until one day she heard the footsteps of yet another intruder in her sanctuary. The warrior who entered her domain moved with caution. Medusa, hiding in the shadows, prepared to strike. But as she crept closer, she noticed something astonishing. The warrior carried Athena's sacred shield, the Aegis, once wielded by Zeus himself. The shield was so polished that it reflected like a mirror. Using this reflection, the warrior spotted Medusa behind him. With a swift and precise strike, he severed her head from her body. Medusa's life ended, her blood spilling onto the ground. The warrior, previously unknown, would go down in history as Perseus, the hero who slayed the Gorgon. Music. After his victory, Perseus returned Athena's shield to her and offered Medusa's head as a tribute. What few knew was that Medusa had carried Poseidon's divine seed within her. From her blood emerged two extraordinary beings, Chrysaor, a warrior with a golden sword, and Pegasus, a magnificent winged horse, embodying the purity that had been stolen from Medusa. Many believed that Athena's act of giving Perseus her shield was another form of punishment for Medusa. In truth, it was an act of mercy. Athena wanted to free Medusa from the wretched existence she had been forced into, a life of endless suffering and isolation. To honor her loyal priestess, Athena placed Medusa's head on her shield, the Aegis. The image of the once beautiful woman who had served her so faithfully was now forever etched beside the goddess she had loved and worshipped. Medusa's story, though tragic, became a lasting symbol of both the cruelty of divine wrath and the enduring strength of devotion. Her tale reminds us that even in the darkest of curses, there can be moments of redemption and grace. Music,